We've got major technical disasters going on at the radio station, which I'll tell everybody about when I get on the air. I'm just getting set up here. So what's going on is our phone system is done through Comcast, and there is a Comcast outage. So I can't take calls. The phones aren't working. And I don't expect them to be working until they told me, Comcast says that they will be restored by 7:55. So that's, just 2 hours without being able to take calls. So it'll be a fun day, no doubt about it. I've had worse, I must say. Well, we'll do it. That's the way it is. Yeah, here's the phone, and it's completely useless. Well, hopefully it'll come on sooner, because I had something especially planned this morning for calls, but I guess I'm going to have to overcome that. Well, that's how it goes. All right, we have about 30 seconds.
Join us for a moment.
Here we go. All right, yes. Welcome, everyone. It's Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, and we got a lot to cover today, a lot of things to talk about, and just a quick announcement here early on, which I'll probably make several times because, our phone lines are down. There is an outage with the phone company, and this has happened before. And I've been told that the outage will be restored by 7:55 a.m., which sounds good, probably, but it's only 6:06 a.m., and I'm unable to take or make or receive phone calls until they're back on. So, so this is how it goes. I had a plan today. I had something I was going to do, which was to, do something and then ask you all about it. But I can't ask you guys. Well, I can ask you about it. You just can't answer me. So that's just the way it is. Hey, listen, the show must go on. And this is not a joke, okay? I know people. I have friends that do shows every day without calls. The difference is they don't have an outage. They just don't get calls. And they... So I guess it's going to be like the Joyce Kaufman show, but interesting. Call us and interesting. Now, I've done this before. There was at our studio in Coral Springs, there was a lightning strike, and we did not have phones working in our studio for 3 weeks due to this lightning strike. So what we did after a while, because it was fine for a while, then I was like, okay, well, let's do something. So then I forwarded the 888-GO-CANE-1 number. I forwarded that to my cell phone, and I would take calls over my cell phone and just hold the phone on speakerphone up to the microphone. But the problem is I'm using my iPhone to live stream on YouTube now, so I can't do that right now. But hey, listen, the show must go on, and there's lots to talk about. I'm going to get into everything that I was going to do anyway. It's just an inconvenience. There's a different, when you're doing a radio show, there's a difference in mindset as to whether you're getting calls or can't get calls. So it's a little strange. But anyway, I've done it. I had a friend that worked at a radio station. I don't even know if it exists, and this was many, many years ago. So it's probably different owners, but WPBR, which is AM station that I don't even know if it exists anymore. This was many years ago. And they couldn't take phone calls for 2 weeks because the radio station didn't pay the phone bill. Can you imagine? Oh, my goodness. I know that. Yeah, could you imagine? That's pretty bad, isn't it? Yeah, I know. But ours paid the phone bill. It's just an outage. All right, well, let's just get into it. I'm not going to gripe about that. The show will go on, and it'll probably be better. Oh, my God. What's Mike in Louisiana going to do? I mean, you know, if he can't call me at 6:20, Mike in Louisiana, his whole day is going to be thrown off. All right, but let's get into it. And I'm going to talk in a bit here about what happened with President Trump and this gag order yesterday. But before I do that, I was watching some of the news stories about these college kids protesting Israel. And it just really angered me beyond imagination. It really did. And on my way in this morning, I was driving up the turnpike, and I was thinking about it, and I was just getting more and more ticked off as I was thinking about it. And I know Vivek Ramaswamy's out there defending these kids. Oh, they're young, they're experimenting. And I was telling you yesterday, Ramaswamy is about to crash and burn and be out of the presidential race. He's so far behind, he's a joke. So what he's probably doing, because he has a lot of support with young people, he's sucking up to young people like he was sucking up to MAGA, which has rejected him, so that he can be forever on the college speaking tour, you know, and get his poster up in girls' dorm rooms or something. I don't know. But youth is not an excuse on this. And these college kids, in particular the college girls, rightly so, protest against violence against women, the Me Too movement, date rape, violence against women. I mean, women are probably the biggest victims of crime in the world and always have been. They're the weaker of the genders. That's just the way it is. You hear terrible stories all the time. And here we have this attack that happened a week ago this past Saturday, where barbarians on motorcycles, like out of The Road Warrior, really, wasn't it? Like The Road Warrior, go into that music festival, rape, kill, kidnap women, and I'm watching these college kids talking about free Palestine. Let me tell you something here. There are incidents that happen that involve like a national period of mourning, and sometimes, like when there's a tragedy, like a school shooting, they'll have crisis counselors go to the school, crisis teams, and things like this. And there's a lot of PTSD and things. I remember at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, I was over there after that incident, and they had these vans from the crisis teams and everything, and they do go. These college kids are sick, twisted, brainwashed, and screwed up beyond imagination. And this isn't youth. This isn't about being young. When I was young, I knew that rape and kidnapping and murdering of women, men too, but women was bad. I wasn't out there protesting, which is what, you know what they're doing, these college kids? They're protesting in favor of the rapist. Why is Harvey Weinstein in prison? He wasn't riding around on motorcycles doing what he did. There needs to be more done than what's being done about this. We've got a problem. Our university system, both public and private, probably since the 50s, when the Soviets started doing this, but the faculty have been taken over by left-wing lunatics, many of them foreign-based, okay? Many of them foreign-based, and are here for a very particular purpose, promoting an agenda, promoting a narrative, brainwashing America's youth. And I got to tell you, if we had a president that didn't wear adult diapers and knew who the president of the United States was, what I mean by that is people that are suffering from age-related dementia, one of the first questions their doctor will ask them is, who's the president? And if they don't know, and that's where Biden is. If you asked him who the president was, he might say Obama sometimes if you catch him at the right time. and he wouldn't be joking. But there needs to be something done about this. These kids are lost. Remember American History X? Great movie, American History X. And they're sitting at the table at dinner. Elliot Gould and Beverly D'Angelo are there, and he's ranting about all these things. That's what these college kids are like. And it's enough. There need to be, back when unfortunately there aren't enough of these people left, and the ones that are so old, but we used to have Holocaust survivors come into schools and talk and share their experiences. Even when I was in college, they had Holocaust survivors come in and talk and share their experiences. There needs to be some type of national organization, a national movement to take back our colleges and our universities from these foreign nationals, brainwashed commies. And, a lot of it is with college professors, the ones that are Americans, okay? I had some of these professors when I was in school, too. College professors never leave school, right? They go K through 12, they go to college, they go to graduate school, and then they get their PhD and they become teachers. So they never grow up. They're still children in their mindset because they've never left school. And then you have a lot of them that are spies or brainwashed communists or brainwashed terrorist supporters, as we're seeing. And it's enough of this. And something's got to be done. I'll tell what this is. I've never seen something like this. What's going on with these idiot college kids? Not at this level. This isn't your standard protest against something. Okay, college kids are always protesting this or that. This is different because we have seen what happened in Israel. Everyone has seen this, and these college kids are advocating for it. Now, I'd ask you what your thoughts were on this, but you can't call me just yet. But when you can, I'll give out the number again. But I want to take a break, and I'll continue where I am where I left off, and then I'll get into this gag order against President Trump, which is a really bad thing. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. 16 minutes after the hour. We'll be right back. Yeah, this is great. Maybe it'll be better without taking phone calls. Now, I got to tell you guys, I got a call from Mike Lindell's office yesterday. They were blown away by the support that this audience showed My Pillow last week. They called to tell me that. It's absolutely amazing. And they still need your support. Mike Lindell's in trouble. My Pillow is in trouble. And what Mike is asking is that you go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane, support him, support us at the same time, and help them out. And I got to tell you, it's cold. It was 64 when I left my house, and here at the radio station it's 61 degrees, and that's freezing by Florida standards. I know you guys around the country, that's nothing, but in Florida it is. And I didn't even realize how cold it was, because I was sleeping under the MyPillow 100% Giza cotton dream sheets that perfectly regulate your body temperature. We did not even have the flannels on last night, and I was the perfect temperature, just snugly all night long, because those 100% Giza cotton dream sheets perfectly regulate your body temperature all year long. In the summer, they keep you cool. In the winter, they keep you warm. And they are just $29.98 right now with our promo code Kane, and they come in, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different colors. And that doesn't include the flannels. So go to mypillow.com, order the 100% Giza cotton dream sheets from MyPillow. I think we have 6 sets of them. We have 4 regular and 2 flannel, I believe. And you will love them. I mean, And we'll be back here in just a moment. Day 2 with the new camera and the new streaming app. I think it looks good. Well, maybe I'll pay more attention to the chat today, since I can't take calls. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. So before I get to the Trump gag order, I want to finish up talking about these college kids. I remember when the Gainesville killer was killing kids at the University of Florida, and I was just out of high school. A lot of my friends were up there. I didn't go to college. I was an adult. I had to work. I was loitering around radio stations begging for work. And I remember my friends came home. Their parents brought them home from college because they had not they didn't catch Danny Rawlings yet, who was the Gainesville killer. Pretty brutal killer, by the way. I mean, it was just one of the worst. That's the kind of situation I think we're in right now. I think parents need to bring their kids home from college. Listen to these stories. They're endless stories, and this one here, listen to this. At least 30 pro-Palestinian Jewish protesters were arrested Monday for blocking all of the entrances of the White House. Well, how do they know they're Jews? Just because they say it? Do we know they're Jews? I don't know. Maybe. Demonstrators demanding to end genocide in Gaza and an Israeli ceasefire swarmed the complex while Biden held national security meetings. Biden will visit Israel tomorrow. If not now, the group organizing the march posted on X, "We're prepared to put our bodies in the way of more slaughter. We're ready to stay here until Biden forces a ceasefire. We're here because we know humanitarian catastrophe, mass violence upon Gaza won't prevent more violence or heal our pain." Secret Service said they arrested 33 of charges of unlawful entry, 16 on charges of I don't even know what that is, or obstruction. And the group shared video of their activists staging sit-in outside the White House, blocking roads and being arrested. They condemn the Hamas attack, but they're also condemning Israel. I mean, come on. We have barbarians that are doing terrible things that we don't even want to know what they're doing. And, I look at these. There's two stories. We've got the girl on the motorcycle who we've not heard from since they snatched her. Okay, and now Hamas has released another video. Hamas has released disturbing video footage showing an Israeli festival goer who was kidnapped and taken to Gaza by the barbarians. They call them terrorists. I'm going to call them barbarians. In the video, which was published on Hamas's official Telegram channel, now what the heck is going on? I mean, are we at the point now where Hamas is all over social media? Can Hamas not be shut off of social media? In the video, which was published on Hamas's official Telegram channel, a young woman speaking Hebrew, that's why I'm not playing you the audio, because it's in Hebrew, addresses the camera directly, claiming to be from Central Israel. And she's not the girl on the motorcycle, but she's another one of these Instagram models they got. Her name is Maya. She was abducted at the music festival. She says her captors are taking good care of her. I'm sure they are. Give me a break. Just like our Vietnam prisoners. She looks like hell. She does not look well taken care of. She looks like a rape victim. Okay, is what she looks like, and I'm sure she is. She says the captors are taking good care of her. Complete BS. I only ask that you get me out of here as soon as possible, please. She's 21 years old, and the first footage released by Hamas of a hostage speaking from captivity with the caption saying she was abducted on October 7th when Hamas attacked southern Israel. Unbelievable. And we've got these college girls with their Me Too movement and their same-sex partners and their pronouns out there protesting the Free Palestine. Then you got, this goes on and on. Here's another one. This is really sick stuff that none of us have ever experienced before. Not at this level. Not with the type of media coverage that we have. Hamas defending Harvard students. Harvard should be shut down right now. If I had a kid at Harvard, I'd be terrified. Harvard's Arab Alumni Association has appealed for donations to help students' mental health after they were subjected to relentless bullying and intimidation for blaming Israel for the Hamas terror attacks. Well, I'm sorry, they got a whacked out position. If you go out there and you blame a victim for the attack, what if you had what they're doing? These Harvard kids, the Harvard Arab whatever group it is, that's blaming Israel for the attacks. They're blaming rape victims for their rape. This girl that they released the video of from Telegram. Have you seen her? You're telling me these guys have not been raping her without mercy for the last 9 days, 10 days, however long it's been? Of course they have. So you've got these students that are blaming the victims. They're blaming rape victims for their rapes. They're blaming the murdered for their murders. Are you kidding me? They were just a bunch of kids who were drunk and looked half high at a music festival having a good time like a lot of people do at that age. The Harvard undergraduate Palestinian excuse me, I'm just so ticked off I can't even read. This is so sick and twisted. I feel so sorry for the Israeli kids in these schools. And I got to tell you, those Jewish kids at the White House, I'm not so sure they were all Jewish. I'm looking at the pictures of them, and they have very funny beards and things going on. The Harvard Undergrad Palestine Solidarity Committee, there we go, I got it right that time, issued a letter on October 7th, co-signed by 33 other Harvard student organizations, stating, "We, the undersigned student organizations, hold the Israeli regime entirely responsible for all unfolding violence." These clubs should be shut down. Those kids should be talked to. The leaders should be suspended. The faculty leaders should be fired. My whole life, I've heard two things. Don't forget the lessons of Vietnam was one, and then what happened? They got us involved in a 20-year war in Afghanistan and all of that. And also, the other question that's asked in our society that I've heard all my life is, how did the Holocaust happen? And never again. Well, I'll tell you how the Holocaust happened. Crap like this. This is how the Holocaust happened. You've heard that thing. They came for and I said nothing. They came for when they came for me, there was no one left to say anything, right? That's what's going on here. These schools should be shut down. All these people involved should be fired. The students should be expelled. This is sick and twisted. And Vivek Ramaswamy, I'm sorry that your star is fading and you're about to become a billionaire has-been. This guy's a billionaire, and he's trying to find a way to forever be on the college speaking tour by sucking up and defending this sickness. Let's take our break for the bottom of the hour, and I'll continue with this. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere.
Making morning radio great again. You're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, but I'll get to the gag order stuff. But these articles are just pissing me off, and it's just got to be talked about. I'm sorry. What's going on in these colleges? This is not funny, and I'll get to the Trump gag order. Don't worry, But this, I've just, I'm just pissed. I mean, and where's all these psycho Me Too Hollywood women, like Ashley Judd? And I'm going to continue with that story because that's just sick. And there's a couple others I got to go through. Oh, boy. Hey, guys, don't forget, I know a bunch of you yesterday did, order your Mighty MAGA Lion. There's a link in the description of the video, or you can just go to the website, mightymagalion.com, and order yours. These make great Christmas gifts. And remember, this is the only Trump-inspired merchandise like this where he has the MAGA hat on. MAGA 45, Q-tail, and these are very, very high quality. They really are, including the stuffing inside. And this one here is the one I've had all this time. I take it to and from the radio station all the time, and I show it all the time. And he looks brand new, even though I've been carrying him around for so long. So order yours, mightymagalion.com. Let's see here. Thank you, Christine. Let me unpin the and then I'll pin the I'll pin the link from Christine there to the lion. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Doesn't do much good to pin the phone. I can't even dial out. Yeah, it's just a busy signal when I pick up the phone. Yeah, they're all being quiet with their pink hats. It happens. Steve tells me I take too many calls anyway, all the time, which I probably do. And if you noticed with this app that I'm streaming with, the audio is better too, I've noticed. The audio is much better. Jane Fonda, I know she'll probably give another interview about sex at 85. You know, that's all she likes to talk about is sex as an old lady. Yeah, I think so too, D. I like it. It's aggravating. I mean, we're seeing how the Holocaust happened. It's, you know, it's what's going on here. We're seeing how it happened. I'll get to the gag order in a bit. I want to get to that, but I had something I was going to do with the gag order with the phone, so I got to switch up because the phones are out of order. But I'll get to the gag order in just a bit. I want to finish up with this because I'm so sick of these students. I'm just so disgusted by them. And I just don't think there's enough talk about it. They're taking it too seriously. I mean, they're not taking it too seriously. They're not taking it too seriously. I'm so pissed I can't even think straight. All right, guys. I'm sorry to get so aggravated about this today, but things are being taken too lightly. As growing up, I always read and studied, history and World War II, and we've all seen and everything that we've seen growing up, and now we're seeing it live. Let me go back to this article, and I have more. Harvard's Arab Alumni Association has appealed for donations to help students' mental health after they were subjected to relentless bullying and intimidation for blaming Israel for the Hamas terrorist attacks. Well, those kids need help. I will agree, those kids need mental health. But if they're at Harvard, I think they can find it. If they can either afford it because they're rich or they have it at the school. The Harvard Undergrad Palestine Solidarity Committee issued a letter co-signed by 33 other Harvard student organizations stating, "We, the undersigned student organizations, hold the Israeli regime entirely responsible for all unfolding violence." These sick, twisted people need to be tossed out of the school yesterday. They're blaming the murdered for their own murders. They're blaming the raped for their rapes. On Wednesday, the Harvard Arab Alumni Association wrote to members appealing for help supporting the students. These are the students that are blaming Israel for everything. They may require legal counsel, health care, mental health support, financial aid, or mentorship. Well, maybe they might require a deportation back to whatever third world pit of hell that they came from. And, there's certain things you can do to get thrown out of colleges. Does this not rise to the level of that? What they're doing is the equivalent of being in the Klan. Blaming Israel, protesting against Israel at Harvard or any other school is the same as being an advocate for the Klan. If there was a KKK Aryan Nation student group protesting blacks and Jews at a university, would those students be expelled? You better believe it. And the professors, would people like Ramaswamy say, "Oh, they're young, they're experimenting with ideas"? No, they'd be out. Students say they found their names on watch list. Hell yeah. Creating severe risks for their immigration status and future career prospects. Yeah, they should be, see? Their immigration status. Deport them. Deport them. A letter from more than 30 Harvard student groups was sent on the day of the attacks, which saw Hamas terrorist groups stage a dawn raid. And then I look at this story, which I haven't even read yet. Alicia Keys. Now, I know who Alicia Keys is, and I'm sure I've heard her music. But if I heard her song, one of her songs, even her biggest hit, I wouldn't know it was her. Listen to this. Alicia Keys has been accused of making a ode to Hamas terror attacks by an anti-Semitism advocacy group after Alicia Keys asked fans if she should take up paragliding on Instagram. What the heck? What sicko? Is she still on The Voice? Probably not. That tells you how hip I am with pop culture. Alicia Keys, age 42. Yeah, 42 and dumb as a donut. Whose music producer husband is Muslim, quickly deleted the post and responded to the controversy on Monday evening. Yeah, her husband goes by the name Swiss Beats. His real name is Qasim Dean. Is he like Muslim, or is he like Nation of Islam Muslim? Alicia Keys was accused of using a coded message to signal her support for Hamas after she uploaded the photo to her 27.1 million followers. Yes, I'm getting text messages from people about the phone. People are texting me. See how much people want to talk Everybody wants to talk. I'm getting text messages. I guess I could read text messages out. Here's another one. Columbia University refuses to condemn professor who called Hamas attack awesome. By the way, this all happened. This is all today. These are all stories this morning as I'm going through the news. This professor should be arrested. Do you remember that guy that called in last week? Henry from Sweden, from Australia. Remember that guy, Mike? He has an Australian accent now. You know, he was pulled in. He was on the air and was cheering the 9/11 attacks. And it wasn't September 12th. It was sometime later. Do you know he got woken up in the middle of the night by the FBI and hauled in for questioning in the middle of the night? Did you? Yeah. I forgot about that when he called the other day. Because he was openly siding with Al-Qaeda. Or as Ilhan Omar says, Al-Qaeda. And that was the right thing to do. Do you know that guy that called in, Henry from Sweden, that was calling from Australia? We had him on the show regularly. And he was always attacking Israel, always blaming us for 9/11 and saying positive things about Al-Qaeda. You know, he went to Israel and got stopped by their immigration enforcement at the airport and was deported from Israel. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's in Australia because he got tossed out of this country. I don't know that, but it wouldn't surprise me. And that's the right thing to do. This is in the New York Post. Columbia University has refused to comment over a tenured professor who called Hamas terrorist attacks against Israel awesome. Not only should he be fired, he should be arrested. Here we got the feds going after Donald Trump and listening to him and talking to Skanky Daniels and all this stuff. Oh, they got a selfie together. They must have. How many selfies I take with people? You think I've had sex with everybody I've had a selfie with? Columbia University has refused to comment on the growing outrage over a tenured professor who called Hamas terrorist attacks against Israel awesome. A petition calling for his ouster has now, at the time of this story's writing, 45,000 signatures. Professor of Politics and History Joseph Mossad, like the Israeli intelligence agency, was accused of condoning and supporting terrorism. The teacher called the Hamas attacks on Israel a stunning victory in an article published on the electronic Intifada a day after the attack. Regardless of one's stance on the conflict, supporting and praising one of the worst acts of terrorism in history is never acceptable, the petition reads. We call on Columbia to hold him responsible for his conduct and immediately remove him from the faculty. This man's dangerous. You know what this guy is? He's a terrorist recruiter, is what he is. He's a terrorist recruiter. A letter of solidarity was issued in response, condemning the petition against him and calling on Columbia University to guarantee his physical safety and his academic freedom. He's the one that's the good guy that needs protection. The letter's been signed by over 600. Well, everybody who signs that letter in support of this professor, they should be looked at too. Columbia has repeatedly declined to comment on the matter when contacted by the Post. Cornel West says they can't have him removed now. I need to see more of what he said. Well, who cares what you say, Cornel West? This is sick. You know, I got the audio of him. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it. This is how the Holocaust happened, people. This is how it happened. We've got these modern day, what these people are saying, this professor, these idiot kids in front of the White House yesterday claiming to be Jews, although it wouldn't surprise me, because Jews go to these places like Columbia and they get brainwashed too sometimes and start to hate themselves. You know, and that. But I wouldn't. Looking at the pictures, though, they don't look like the Jews I know. What these people are saying in English is what they were saying in German at the Nazi rallies when the Nazis were coming to power. Okay? Make no mistake about it. All right, we're going to take our last break of the first hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this. I don't think Steve can connect on the thing. I'm not sure. Okay, they said it's busy, but it's busy when I pick up the phone here. So it's hard to say. Oh, they were just on. Okay. Got to get your kids out of college. This is just insane. I mean, this is sick. There's another. All these stories that I'm sharing are stories that are new this morning. These aren't stories from like a week ago. You know, I mean, that's what's even more upsetting. All right, we're back. Cheryl, thank you. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All these stories that I'm sharing are fresh in the news this morning. These aren't stories that have been piling up over the last 9 days. These are stories from this morning, every one of them. I got another one. But first, I woke up today. When I left the house and got into my car, it was 64 degrees. When I got here to the radio station, it's 3 degrees colder here, 61 degrees. At least that's what it says on my dashboard. And that's cold, man. I mean, that's like wintertime weather here in sunny South Florida. But you know what? I slept last night so great. I slept so wonderfully last night. You know why? Well, I live in a MyPillow household, that's why. But I have the MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets from MyPillow. And just the regular, not the flannel. My wife and I, we have 6 sets of the MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. 4 regular and 2 flannel. We didn't even have the flannels on, just the regular, and I did not even know it was so cold because the 100% Giza cotton dream sheets from My Pillow perfectly regulate your body temperature. They keep you cool in the summer, and they keep you toasty and warm in the colder times, like now. And basically, I sleep like Goldilocks. And the My Pillow 100% Giza cotton dream sheets come in many, many different colors. They come in regular as well as flannel, and they're just $29.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. Kane, just $29.98. You can also order by phone 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. So here's another story. This is just sick stuff. This is in the Gateway Pundit. Russell Rickford, an associate professor of history at Cornell University, spoke during a pro-Palestine protest Sunday and shared that the deadly Hamas terrorist attack was exhilarating and energizing. Which part was exhilarating? The kidnapping of the girl on the motorcycle that has probably been raped to death? What exhilarated him so much? You sicko. Here's another guy. He should be fired. And he should be investigated. Parents pay $65,000 and up a year for their kids to go to this school. The New York Post, the footage of Professor Rickford's impassioned speech was also shared throughout social media. They're not sure exactly when and where the rally took place, as of this report. The professor said the coordinated October 7th attack in which militants broke through concrete walls and went into Israel and indiscriminately murdered civilians shifted the balance of politics and punctured the illusion of invincibility of Israel, which has imposed a blockade on the Gaza Strip since 2007. That's why they've done it. You don't have to be a Hamas supporter to recognize it, he said. The professor goes on, he says, it was exhilarating, it was energizing, and if they weren't exhilarated by this challenge to the monopoly of violence, the shifting of violence of power, then they would not be human. I was exhilarated, says the professor, by the murders, the rapes, and the attack. This guy is a mental patient. He should be locked up. He should be fired. He should be committed. He should be investigated. His teaching credentials should be revoked. And, you know, there's a saying that I heard someone use once when I was young. And when I was young and I heard it, I thought it was a stupid statement. But it's actually a very brilliant statement. You know, there is such a thing as having too much education. There is. There's a such thing as having too much education and over-intellectualizing things. Look at this lunatic, anti-Semitic monster who's cheering on rape and murder of women at Cornell University. I mean, if I was cheering on rape and murders here, what would happen to me? Well, they'd take me to the funny farm. I'd be committed. They'd say, this guy's got to be nuts. But if you're advocating for it against Jews, this associate professor could probably become a senior tenured professor. But when I say about too much education, listen to what he said. This is what this professor said that he was energized watching the murders and the rapes. He says, the shifting of the violence of power. What kind of phrase does that mean? That's a good thing? The violence, the ability to commit violence has shifted? By the way, when has Israel done something like this? Israel is a nuclear power that has hundreds of nuclear weapons. They could nuke the entire Arab world if they wanted to. In fact, if you look at what they've done in Gaza, they've shown nothing but restraint. Now, I don't know which way the winds blow over there, so maybe nuking it wouldn't be an option, but they have a lot of other weapons too. Pretty much anything we have, they have. But what are they doing? Opening up borders to let civilians out. Now, how the hell do you know that they're civilians? When you're letting civilians out, how do you know they're not Hamas terrorists? But they're still letting them out. You know, you can't tell. You cannot tell. They're dropping leaflets. We're coming. They still have not gone in. on the ground. They've sent in some special forces here and there, but they've not gone in with a mass invasion. They've shown nothing but restraint, Israel. This Cornell professor, the power of violence, whatever that means, hasn't shifted. It's just you have barbarians who are lunatics, and then you have civilized people, the Israelis. And I'm sorry to go on so long about this, but each one of these stories I've shared in this hour is a brand new story that is a headline story in the press today in this country. And, here in South Florida, we have the largest Jewish population outside of Israel. And, but even if we didn't, I'd be talking about this. But I'll tell you this. I know we have parents and grandparents of children at all of the schools I've mentioned. Bring your kids home. When my friends came home from Gainesville, before they got the Gainesville killer, they came home. Some of them came home because they were scared, but their parents brought them home. Their parents brought them home. Bring your kids home. It is not safe to be a Jew at an American university today. It's not. Sorry. You have to transfer them somewhere that's safe. A lot of kids that left University of Florida during the Gainesville killings of Danny Rawlings, many of them transferred to other schools that they viewed as being safe because they didn't have a serial killer around. Now, where's safe? Well, I know not every place is Harvard or Cornell. I understand that Columbia, these are all fancy names that have fancy connections. But you're endangering your kids. And I don't mean physically. That's possible. I had that story yesterday of that young Fox News reporter who was followed by those Palestinians asking her if she was a Jew yesterday. So there's certainly a physical threat, but your kids are in danger because their minds are being polluted with Nazi filth. Make no mistake about it. This is Nazi talk. And I know liberals like to call everyone a Nazi. Oh, you're opposed to affirmative action. You're a Nazi. Oh, you don't use the proper pronouns. You're a Nazi. No, I mean real Nazi. I'm talking about Third Reich, Leni Riefenstahl, Triumph of the Will Nazis. Okay? That's what this is in every one of these incidents at every one of these schools. Get your kids and grandkids out of them. I know you want to have the fancy credentials, but do you want to have your kid's mind polluted by these monsters at these universities? Now, how this happened, I don't know. But it's happened. And it seems that the university, whoever America's enemies are at the particular time, it seems the university professors are dominated by them. During the Cold War, we had all these communists, okay, at the universities. Now, since 9/11, we have all these pro-Nazi, pro-terrorist professors coming out of the woodwork. And my guess is that after 9/11, liberals, what probably happened with this is a couple things have happened. One, Obama had a mass immigration movement of bringing Muslims to America. That's a lot of it. But a lot of it also is after 9/11, after 9/11, liberals wanted to reach out to the Muslim community to understand them and all this stuff as the buildings had come down and all that. And the universities, which are the liberal think tanks of our society, supposedly, have done massive recruitments. Remember the Fort Hood shooter, Major Nadal Hassan? When that Fort Hood shooting happened, do you know it took about 6 hours before they gave us his name? You know why? Because he was Muslim. And it came out that Major Nadal Hassan had recently been transferred to Fort Hood in Texas, that he was stationed in Virginia. He had given he was talking like these professors except he wasn't talking about Israel. He was talking about the United States and Al-Qaeda. He was Captain Nadal Hassan. He was at a group of other officers, and he was speaking out, condemning the United States and our actions against Al-Qaeda. And this was when Obama was president, and some reported him, but people were afraid because we had this sympathetic to the terrorist government under Obama. So what did they do? They promoted him from captain to major, transferred him to Fort Hood, and then look what happened. That's what's going on at these universities and with these professors. Now, if you're just tuning in, we have an outage with our phones today, so we're not able to take calls. I've been told that they'll be restored in about an hour. So, so you're just going to have the thoughts of me until then. But we'll keep checking, and when the phones are back up and running, some of you may find out first because I do know that people are calling. We just can't take them on the air. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. When we get back, I'm going to get into this gag order against President Trump, which is really sick, twisted stuff, too. Very important, and he spoke about it very specifically in his Iowa speeches yesterday, so we're going to get into all of that. I almost gave out the number, but that's just out of habit. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back after our top of the hour break.
A judge.
Okay. We'll get into the gag order when I get back. Hey, guys. Now, of course, this is the Mighty Mega Lion. Have you ordered yours yet? I know a bunch of you ordered yesterday, and I'll be shipping those out today. Yes. And I've been shipping out these Mighty Mega Lions every day. Thanks, guys. They make great Christmas gifts. And as I said, exclusively available through me at MightyMegaLion.com. There's a link in the video description, MightyMegaLion.com. And this is the Christmas gift of the year. There's no doubt about it. Oh. Those stories are just really upsetting. And I know I'm not alone. I know you guys feel the same way. Twisted sickos. 60 seconds, we'll be back. Yeah, I pinned the Mighty MAGA Lion link to the top of the chat. Christine posted it in the chat, and it is pinned right there. Okay.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We've covered a lot in the first hour. I know that was a little bit heavy, but it's important. And I want to get into the gag order that this judge put. This judge is a disgusting person. This judge, she's a naturalized U.S. citizen. You know what? Very unusual. I mostly, she's from Jamaica. We have a lot of Jamaicans here in Florida. Oh, man, I love that Jamaican jerk beef. Oh, my goodness. But Jamaicans are typically conservative, always have been, even before the Trump era. And but it's not in this case. And she issued a gag order against President Trump, which we'll talk about. But President Trump gave two speeches back-to-back in Iowa yesterday. And he talked about the gag order. And him talking about the gag order might be a violation of the gag order. I don't know. Listen, this is President Trump. This was the second speech he gave in Iowa yesterday.
A judge gave a gag order today. Did you hear that on speech? Which I believe is totally unconstitutional, what she did. A judge gave a gag order. A judge doesn't like me too much. Her whole life is not liking me. But she gave a gag order. You know what a gag order is? You can't speak badly about your opponent. But this is weaponry all being done because Joe Biden is losing the election and losing very, very badly to all of us in the polls. He's losing badly. But what they don't understand is that I am willing to go to jail if that's what it takes for our country to win and become a democracy again. Thank you. Thank you very much. So true.
So true. Yeah, so he very well may have violated the gag order right there. And this lunatic special prosecutor he looks completely insane to me. He really does. Him and Governor Whitmer, you can see it in their face. These are not lucid people. These are insane. This is from the Gateway Pundit. D.C. Judge Tanya Chutkan, an Obama-appointed judge, hit President Trump with a gag order yesterday. That's right. And by the way, Jack Smith, according to the press, leaks stuff out every day, which is a crime. CNBC says a federal judge Monday imposed a partial gag order on Donald Trump in his criminal case in D.C. U.S. District Court Judge Tanya Chutkan barred Trump and other parties in his case from making any public statements targeting special counsel deranged Jack Smith and his staff. They don't say deranged in the CNBC article, but I added that in. She also, the judge, prohibited statements targeting court staff, which would be her, because he calls her a Trump-hating judge, which she is. The ruling by Judge Chutkan granted some of the restrictions sought by deranged Jack Smith, whose office is prosecuting the federal case against Trump. Chutkan delivered the ruling at the end of a hearing in which she expressed concerns. Judge Chutkan asked a prosecutor to define which of Trump's statements would qualify as disparaging and barred under the gag order. She asked how such an order could be enforced against a former president. Chutkan clashed repeatedly with the Trump defense team, who argued that the efforts to limit Trump's out-of-court statements would violate his First Amendment rights. That's absolutely correct. See, she doesn't like that he calls her a Trump-hating judge. That's what this was really about. The judge is actually the one who made the motion, technically, if you think about it, you know. Judge Tanya Chutkan imposed a gag order on Trump after special counsel deranged Jack Smith filed a motion to silence Trump. The need for the proposed order is further evidenced by a review of the defendant's presidential statements in the weeks since the motions were filed. Jack Smith's prosecutors wrote in the court review. Deranged Jack Smith said Trump waged a sustained campaign of prejudicial public statements regarding witnesses, the court, the district, and the prosecutors. The judge held a hearing yesterday on the gag order and used it as an opportunity to attack our great President Trump. President Trump will be barred from speaking out against special counsel Jack Smith, court witnesses, and more. Judge Chutkan laughed at Trump's lawyers before telling them that Trump does not have unfettered First Amendment rights. Really? What does that mean? Chutkan, this is the judge, Judge Chutkan laughed after Trump's lawyers argued that the current conditions are working, saying she's disagreed before and went through some of Trump's statements one by one. The judge says Trump doesn't have unfettered First Amendment rights and that there's no question that the court is entitled to draw restrictions to ensure a fair administration of justice, NBC reports. So the judge said the restrictions are to ensure a fair administration of justice? You have the most popular Republican president in the history of this country, more popular than Lincoln, the first Republican president. Remember, half the country left the Union. We had the Civil War when Lincoln was elected. So she says this gag order is to ensure the fair administration of justice. Really? So we have the most popular Republican president in history who's beating Biden in all the polls now. They don't even bother reporting the polls against the other Republicans. They're done. He's beating Biden now. He's got an Obama-appointed judge, which is the same as a Biden-appointed judge, since it's the same regime. He's got this deranged prosecutor with a corrupt attorney general who's pissed off that he didn't get the Supreme Court slot that he was picked for by Obama. We've got the court in D.C. where they're all Democrats that are registered to vote there. That would be part of the jury pool. How do you get a fair administration of justice, Judge Chutkan? You keep talking about censorship like the defendant has unfettered First Amendment rights. He doesn't, Judge Chutkan said, according to the Associated Press. We're not talking about censorship here. We're talking about restrictions to ensure there's a fair administration of justice. Yeah, in our biased courtroom. Now we got some details here. Now listen to this. She wants a fair administration of justice, Judge Chutkan. You know what she wants? She wants to be on the Supreme Court. That's what she wants. So the more corrupt she is for the Democrats, the more likely she is to get that. In October 2022, Judge Chutkan slammed President Trump as she berated a J6er during a sentencing hearing. And this is what the judge said to a J6 defendant who was convicted and being sentenced. The blind loyalty to one person who, by the way, remains free to this day, Judge Chutkan said, referring to Trump as she blasted a J6er. So she said the blind loyalty to one person who remains free to this day, which implies that he should not remain free. So in October 2022, 1 year ago, Judge Chunkin said Trump should be in jail. And she's overseeing this case? She puts a gag order on him because he's telling the truth, that she's a Trump-hating judge. She should be removed from the bench. She should be, here she is, an equity partner in Hunter Biden's firm with Burisma as a client, appointed by the Obama Bidens, okay? Says a year ago in court during sentencing that Trump should not be free and should be in jail, and she's the judge. She's talking about fair justice. She is a sick, twisted tyrant. Like the Nazis had judges. We were talking about Nazis in the first hour. And to stay a judge during the Nazi era, you just had to do whatever the Nazis wanted, and then you'd stay a judge. That's what she's doing. She wants to be on the Supreme Court or maybe appointed to a higher court than she's on. If there is a higher court between her and the Supreme Court, I don't know. But I know this. She's a corrupt judge. We got a corrupt prosecutor, a corrupt judge. We got a lot of corrupt prosecutors, don't we? All right, we'll take our break. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Don't go anywhere.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Fire Station.
Pisses me off.
Hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone. Night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet them, they're like Joe Biden.
Sick.
No one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez when you tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Now you can rediscover paradise with Mark.
This is just a sick, twisted day. All right, welcome back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. I was just listening to Steve in the recorded commercial talk about Lighthouse Medical and how they rid him of his neuropathy symptoms, which were debilitating, and that's true. And by the way, they do great work with that. If you have neuropathy or someone you know or love does, get them over to Lighthouse Medical. But they have something new that they wanted us to tell you. Well, it's new to us, not new to them. They've been doing it, but it's new to us. They have hair restoration at Lighthouse Medical. And I went over there last week, I guess, was it Thursday or Friday? I think it was Thursday, and I watched them perform this procedure on a patient. And I wanted to see it so I could talk about it. It's non-invasive, it's non-surgical, it's painless, and the patient that they were performing the treatment on for hair restoration was a woman. And women, are not candidates for hair transplant surgery. That's true. And women don't have the option of going Mr. Clean and shaving their head like men do, which I don't understand that. I mean, you got a little bald spot, so you're going to shave your whole head and they'll be completely bald. So listen, if you're suffering from hair loss, call Lighthouse Medical. Make sure you mention you heard them on the Steve Kane Show for the free consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. Online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Before I jump back into the issues, Steve tells me I take too many calls on the show, and we're having technical issues, and we don't have phones operating right now. And I think the show's been better without me going to the call so much. I mean, I don't know, Conservative Doug and Mike in Louisiana, I like you guys, but I think the show. So when we have our phones restored, we'll throw that out. Do you guys like us not taking calls? I'm not using the royal, plural. I'm talking about in general here at the radio station and on the Steve Kane Show. Do you prefer us not taking so many calls? Should we be more selective on the calls or with the frequency of the calls? Let me know when we have the phones working. Just a little mental note. Something happened years ago. I don't remember what inspired this, and I have a pretty good memory. But something happened, and then Steve said, we're not going to take calls for a month. And we did it. We did a month worth of shows without taking a call. And, and someone, before we did it, someone said, that's going to be pretty hard. And I said, well, Joyce Kaufman's been doing that every day for 30 years. So how hard can it be? So, yeah, we went a month without calls. It was just us. And I don't know something happened. I can't remember what happened. I'll remember it later. All right, let me get back to this. The gag order by this corrupt judge who wants to be nominated to be on the Supreme Court. So let me play you Trump again, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene commented. This was President Trump in Iowa yesterday. I played this at the top, but I want to play it again. This was he gave two back-to-back speeches. And by the way, Joe Biden, yesterday I was playing the clips from 60 Minutes. He fell asleep in that interview. In fact, he was so low energy and falling asleep that during the intro to the interview, the 60 Minutes guy even said that he was low energy and tired and all of that. President Trump did two speeches back-to-back yesterday. And I know isn't that amazing? And he was energetic during both of them. Biden can't even do a sit-down interview in his house without falling asleep. And I know the Trump campaign is being run in a much different way than it's been run in the past. And those weren't rallies yesterday. There were two different Republican events he was speaking at. And I heard some people online, they're saying, we can't get the rally crowds anymore. No. President Trump is doing something that is amazing. And I don't know I don't know if he came up with this or if he has some campaign advisors that he trusts on this. But he is running a campaign like an unknown guy who's running for president in the primaries. And what I mean by that is what his strategy has been in Iowa and in New Hampshire. I don't know, maybe not so much in South Carolina, but certainly maybe, I just haven't noticed. But in Iowa and New Hampshire, Iowa mostly, he is doing small local Republican club events that people of his level typically never do. He's been doing them for quite some time, and by January is when the Iowa caucus is. He will probably either have met, talked, shaken the hands with, or been in the same room with 95% of those who vote in the Iowa caucus. Don't you understand what he's doing with that? It's really amazing. Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton ran campaigns similar to this, and Ronald Reagan to a certain extent too, but Jimmy Carter had this thing, he'd walk around and meet people, I'm Jimmy Carter, I'm running for president, and Bill Clinton did a similar thing. But that's what he's doing. It's a grassroots campaign like he's some unknown guy who's running for president the first time, and it's a brilliant strategy, and it's different. Ron DeSantis was trying to do that, but nobody likes him when they meet him for all the reasons we talk about. But anyway, this was in Trump's second speech in Iowa yesterday. They were back to back and really close together, and he's talking about the gag order.
Judge gave a gag order today. Did you hear that on speech? Which I believe is totally unconstitutional what she did. A judge gave a gag order. A judge doesn't like me too much. Her whole life is not liking me. But she gave a gag order. You know what a gag order is? You can't speak badly about your opponent. But this is weaponry all being done because Joe Biden is losing the election and losing very, very badly to all of us in the polls. He's losing badly. But what they don't understand is that I am willing to go to jail if that's what it takes for our country to win and become a democracy again. Thank you very much. So true.
So true. Yeah. That's not just speech making. He means it. And I wonder if he's like prepared. Is he at the point now, wherever he goes, he's prepared to go to jail? You know, he violated the gag order in that statement there yesterday. That was a violation of the gag order because he was talking about the judge being a Trump-hating judge, which is the main purpose of the order, pointing out her bias. You're not allowed to do that. Well, he did it. And you know what? He's going to continue to do it and push until Jack Smith or someone else goes to her with a motion and she's forced to make a decision. What do you think she's going to do? Do you think she's going to hold him in contempt and jail him? I think President Trump wants to go to jail. What do you guys think? I think he wants to go to jail. And you know what? I think I do too. And I think you all do as well. This is a very visual society. And seeing this president who is being accused of the crime of making America great again, being behind bars for nothing, absolutely nothing, but so that some woman who thinks she's empowered can say, I'm woman, hear me roar, I'm in power. Oh, guy's going to, this sicko because Smith wants to be Attorney General. This lunatic wants to be on the Supreme Court. They basically are taking bribes to be corrupt. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be back.
Making morning radio great again.
I think you're gonna really love it.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Gregg.
No, still down. No, Mike is not Muslim. He just didn't trim his beard. He's not a Muslim. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, he does look Muslim, doesn't he? You might want to trim that beard before you fly. You might not be allowed on the plane. Beltway bastard. That's liberal Al the John. Why do you got to get dressed up to be working at a radio station? Nobody's supposed to see you.
Wouldn't be enough at my old job when I had some sort of beard. I used to have delivery people always go like
L'chaim.
And I'm like, and especially around the Jewish holidays, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, someone says you look like a Hasidic Jew. Yeah. Yeah. This hoodie is from the official Donald Trump store. The one I had on yesterday is from the official Donald Trump store. And the material is very high quality. I don't know what it's made out of, but it is very high quality. Yeah, so when I get back, I want to get to Marjorie Taylor Greene responded. Wait a second. I got to read this article real quick. Oh my goodness. I got some more details on what the judge did in court yesterday. Wait until you hear this crap. This is insane. I wish they had cameras in these federal courtrooms. I have to read 5 articles to get just even part of what happened in the courtroom yesterday.
Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. See, doing this show without taking calls isn't that hard. Oh, my goodness. It's easier when you can't as opposed to when you're not getting them. That's the difference, I think, for a lot of people. I'm really enjoying it. Our number, well, see, no, it's pointless to give out the number. See, it's just out of habit. Oh, man. Okay, so back to this corrupt judge. It's unfortunate there are not cameras in the courtroom. I've had to read 5, 6, 7 articles to piece together everything I'm telling you because there's not really any great reporting out of there. Listen to this. This was during the gag order hearing yesterday. This biased Judge Chunkin blasted the Trump team. She's talking to the Trump lawyers, and she leans in. Oh, my goodness. What a freaking loon. Listen to this. The judge leaned in towards the Trump team and said this. In what kind of case do you think it's appropriate for a defendant to call a prosecutor a thug and remain on the streets? What, is that a crime? This isn't Jamaica. You're not a federal judge in Kingston. I thought that was kind of the norm, but listen to this. It gets worse. So she's an advocate for the prosecution. Now, that's interesting. So she's advocating for the prosecution here. Is that a violation where she could be disbarred and be disciplined for? It's very unusual. So listen to what happened. Judge Chunkin leads into the defense attorneys and says, in what kind of case do you think it's appropriate for a defendant to call a prosecutor a thug and remain on the streets? She asked the same question twice. She said it again. The defense said the prosecution is unprecedented. What's a candidate to do? Stay silent? And then she asked the question again. Wow, so she's lecturing. She's advocating for the prosecution and lecturing the defense. Is that not enough for her to be taken off the case? Not that the next Obama, Biden, Clinton, there may even be some Carter judges around. I don't know. I'm sure they can shop for another Democrat. Not that we'd be any better, but you hear her tone? See, this is what we talk about with judicial activism. Activist judges. This is an activist judge. And she's obviously an immigrant who has never been Americanized. And I would say they're operating like thugs. Wouldn't you, the prosecutors? This man was president of the United States and they broke into his home. That's thuggish. They've arrested his attorneys. They've broken into attorneys' offices. They started this with Michael Cohen in New York. They did the same to Mayor Giuliani. Did the same to James O'Keefe, too, over the Ashley Biden diary. Yeah, Biden's junkie kids just leave stuff all around about their dad, and that's a federal crime. We're in uncharted territory. So Marjorie Taylor, no, the police state is not coming. The police state is here. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, after the judge's gag order, came out and addressed the press. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene right after this corrupt judge's ruling.
What we just witnessed in the courtroom was the judge gave an order gagging President Trump. He's not allowed to talk about the special counsel. He's not allowed to talk about the court. She did say he can talk about Joe Biden and his administration, but yet Joe Biden's administration actually runs the Department of Justice and runs his...
You know, you hear do you notice every time someone from Congress is out in front of the Congress giving a press conference, there's police sirens in the background? Maybe they should be going after real criminals in D.C. as opposed to people that are just ahead of you in the polls.
She did say he can talk about Joe Biden and his administration, but yet Joe Biden's administration actually runs the Department of Justice and runs the special counsel. So her orders don't make a lot of sense. The boundaries of disparaging and inflammatory are the standards to be used to judge President Trump's speech. Gagging him and censoring him while he's running for president. He's the top presidential candidate for the Republican Party for 2024. But politics, all of politics, is disparaging and inflammatory. That's the nature of politics and campaigns. So the judge...
You know, see, this is the thing. When I saw Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA a few weeks back, a couple months ago, you know, he was talking about scientific things, but it applies to this gag order. He says, you know, no one censors the Flat Earth Society. You know, the Flat Earth Society is not just a group of jokers that get drunk and stuff. They actually there are people that actually believe that the Earth is flat and that there's no proof that it's a globe, it's round. I'm serious, and they're all over the place. There's more of them than you think. Even I have a couple of scientific ideas that I don't want to share right now because I don't want to get sidetracked. But and then when Steve comes on after the next break, he'll just laugh at me. But there's a big scientific thing out there that I believe that no one else believes, not very many people. And if I told you, you'd laugh. I might tell you later, but I don't want to get sidetracked. But Tucker Carlson said, you don't hear anyone restricting the Flat Earth Society because what they're saying is just stupid and absurd and not credible. The judge issued the gag order not because of what President Trump said about the prosecutor. She issued the gag order because he pointed out that a year ago she said he should be in prison during the sentencing of a J6er. And she does it, and he speaks to millions of people every day. And she's trying to, this is, I knew this guy who I met at a Star Trek, he was an actor on one of the Star Trek shows, Star Trek Enterprise, and the show was getting canceled. And he told me, he said, this was supposed to be my ship coming in, and now we're getting canceled. This case is Judge Chutkan's ship coming in. Okay? And if President Trump is talking to millions of people on the campaign trail, because these are online and on television, not just the people that are there in the venue, and in every speech he's pointing out that she's biased, she might get taken off the case. And if she can't deliver what they want her to deliver, which is a conviction and a sentencing of this great president, well, then that Supreme Court pick, you can kiss that goodbye. We'll find a judge that'll get it, the conviction, and they'll get on the Supreme Court, Chutkan. So she doesn't want him out there talking about this. Just based on the fact that she said he should not be a free man 1 year ago is enough to get her removed from the case. Plus the other things too, okay? The Burisma connection at the law firm, Hunter's boss, an equity partner at Hunter's firm, all that stuff is important. But she doesn't want him talking about it. Just like that New York judge, that lunatic New York judge in that case. This is his boat coming in too. She gets a ship because she's federal. He just gets a boat because he's a local judge. Fani Willis. You think Fani Willis is just doing this in Georgia? Fani Willis has been told she could be the governor of Georgia, the attorney general of the United States, or the secretary of something. Believe me, all of these people that are persecuting Donald Trump for the crime of making America great again and beating them in the polls are all doing what it is that they're doing in the hopes of being elevated to a higher post. That's all politicians care about, is the stepping stone to the next job until they reach that glass ceiling. I'll tell you guys during the break. I was just about to make a joke that I don't think I can make on the air. But no, these are really dangerous times we're in. And, what's the most frightening, once you think about this now, and maybe I'm wrong, but what's most frightening to me about all of this is that they're not even doing this in secret, that it's all out in the open, the way they're behaving. They feel invincible. And that's what's scary. This guy was president of the United States. He will be again. He's worth $10 billion. He's the most famous man in the world. He has unlimited financial resources. And look what they're doing to him. What could they do to just some guy? Right? It's crazy. If they could do this to him, you and I, we're done. We're in the gulag. Now, I want to tell you guys, coming up April 27th, we have our 5th annual Steve Kane Show MAGA Cruise. This is our 5th one. Can you believe? It's amazing. We're going on the Celebrity Beyond, which is the flagship of Celebrity Cruise Lines, to the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, April 27th. I'm really looking forward to it. I took a tour of this ship a few months back with our great group of people, our travel agent, Steve's wife, Lori. And it's a beautiful ship. It looks like the one we went on last time, but it's much different and even more luxurious than the last one we were on. I'm very excited about it. And I'd been telling you guys that we had run out of balcony verandas, and that is true. However, we were able to grab some Aqua Class balcony verandas. So if you want a balcony veranda, I'm going to give you the number in a moment. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, and he'll tell you about those Aqua Class ones. And if you're just comfortable with a porthole view or a window, there's plenty. But this ship and our group are filling up. That's why there's such a limitation. Give Ian a call, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. We'll take our break and be right back.
Hold. Hard Truth.
Now, guys, here during the break, give me your honest opinion on the show without taking calls like I've been doing today, because I have no choice, as opposed to the shows when I take calls. What are your thoughts on it? I'm not going to ask a yes or no. You can just tell me your thoughts. I think the show's been maybe better today in some regards. Yeah. Better with phone calls? Oh, that means because Jeff couldn't call in. Those of you who call regularly have a bias. Yeah. My BP is probably down. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it every day, but maybe sometimes I won't just go to the calls as fast. I don't know. I like the new camera though, and that I'm using to stream with. And I was telling everyone yesterday, it's not just a new camera I'm using. It's I'm using a streaming app, not the YouTube app, which I generally would stream from. I'm using a streaming app, and so the video is in 1080. So that's like the best quality you can stream at, 1080, and also the sound quality is better. I think, if you notice, the sound's better. It definitely looks better. And I was telling Kathy I look more like myself because the other camera, the front-facing camera, it adds like 15 pounds to me. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh, I thought Steve was joining us. Okay, well, okay, you can hear me now. Okay. Made me nervous for a second. Oh, how you doing, Steve? You're on the air. I'm bizarre? Are you on your end? Which end is bizarre? The no calls, we're not able to take calls, which is seems to be going okay. All right, just good. Not great. Okay. Now, it is officially I'll find a slide in every compliment, people. Don't worry. We are in open enrollment period now for those of you that are Medicare recipients. You want to call Debbie at I Will Advisors. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, Debbie from I Will Advisors can help you and will help you. And her family have been with us here on the Steve Kane Show, helping our listeners with their Medicare since 1994. That's absolutely amazing. You guys remember Adam Klatzoff and Adam's World and all of that? Debbie is Adam, who is no longer with us. his daughter-in-law. And she'll review your policy and make sure that your doctors, which include your specialists, are covered, your prescriptions are covered, and everything else is covered. She'll make sure that if you have a supplement, you're not paying too much for it, and even if you need a supplement. And, of course, in your instance, Steve, you had a prescription that cost more than an ounce of gold, $2,000 a month. It wasn't covered by your policy. You called Debbie. She got it covered. And she does great work. Give her a call. Here's her number. Now, if you call early and get an answering machine, leave your name, leave your number, and Debbie will call you back. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. That's 954-753-8080. All right, so a lot's happened since we last talked, Steve. I don't know where to begin. We got the Holocaust 2 that the liberals are promoting, or the gag order on Trump. I've been talking about both of them today. I don't know which one you would want to go to. Or do you not have a preference? Oh. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I wanted to go just back a little bit to the what's going on with Israel, and then I was told that the phones would be operative by 7:55. So hopefully in the next hour I'll be able to take calls. But if not, we'll just chit-chat. That's okay. You know, I started the show by saying Joyce Kaufman has been doing this every day for 30 years, doing a show without calls. The difference is she doesn't get calls. So, hey, how bad can it be just one day? But hopefully in the next hour we'll be able to take some of your calls because we brought up a lot of things. There's about half a dozen stories today out of the university system around different parts of the country, from New York to California, of students and college professors not just siding with Hamas, but blaming Israel for the attack, the initial attack. We've got a hostage video from one of the girls that was kidnapped, and this is one of these pretty Instagram internet model girls they kidnapped. They have a video of her that is in Hebrew, so we can't play it because we can't understand it, but it's been translated, and she does not look like she did the last time we saw her, I'll tell you that. And she looks like she spent the last 9 days or so being raped without mercy by these monsters. And of course, in her statement that Hamas released in the video, she says that her captors are treating her well, you know, just like at the Hanoi Hilton, right? You know, I mean, this is just god awful. And I'm watching these college kids say free Palestine and blame Israel. Where are these Me Too women that are obsessed with Harvey Weinstein? We have women that have been kidnapped, raped, and murdered. Some of them just raped, some of them kidnapped and raped, some of them raped, then kidnapped, then murdered, every variation of it. And I haven't seen one of these pink hat women like Madonna or Ashley Judd come out and take any issue with any of this. And all I'm hearing are student groups on college campuses and college professors telling us that these rape victims are responsible for their rapes. But there's been two big moves from leftist companies in the last few days that are amazing. Amazing. One I talked about yesterday. You weren't here. MSNBC removed from the host chair 3 Muslim hosts. They had 3 Muslim hosts at MSNBC. They took all their shows away this week because they were too pro-Hamas, which is, it's not only is it amazing that happened, but there's been no press about it. Have you heard about this? Yeah. Well, there's two. So MSNBC took all the Muslims off the air that were hosting shows. They still have them on as pundits and guests, but they took 2 of them had their own shows. They were anchors of their own shows, full time, gone. One was going to fill in for Joy Reid for a few days. They took that away. Late last week, the Starbucks Barista Union, released a statement of support and solidarity for Hamas. This was crazy. And they released a statement online. We, the worker baristas, have united to free Palestine and condemned Israel. Well, that's what you would expect, right? Well, that was the union. Yesterday, Starbucks corporate came out and said that they're going to sue the union if they don't stop using their name and their promotion of the Palestinian cause, Hamas, and their condemning of Israel. They're going to so you've got two of the most liberal companies out there, MSNBC and Starbucks, actually siding with Israel. This has never happened before. And there's been a big turn in this country in a way that I've never seen, where you have these leftist companies supporting Israel. This has never happened. The left are always anti-Israel anytime something happens. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, a Palestinian blows up a wedding or a pizzeria, the liberals are on the side of the suicide bomber. Every time, except this time. And I don't know what's changed, Steve. Do you have any ideas? Or it's because, no, okay. Oh my gosh, the phones are ringing. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll wait till after the top of the hour to take calls. But I want to, when we get back from the top of the hour, we'll take some of your calls on all of the topics we've brought up. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. The phones are working. That's amazing. But the two things that I've talked about today involve the protest against Israel by these leftist college kids and college professors, which is getting way out of hand, as well as the gag order against President Trump and the corrupt judge. But I just want to say, you know, every story that I've shared today from these colleges are all news stories that are in the headlines today. These aren't stories from a week ago. So, you know, when there's like when I woke up last Saturday, not this past Saturday, the one before that, when the attack happened, and I saw that there were rockets going off, I just thought it was a normal day in Israel, right? And it wasn't until later in the morning I realized, like many people, what were going on. So at the beginning of the week last week, when leftists were attacking Israel and siding with the Palestinians, I didn't focus in on that too much because I thought that was just knee-jerk instinctive reaction from the left to condemn the Jews, because that's the habit. Now here we are, 9-10 days later, we're getting hostage videos out of Israel. They had one over the weekend that was insane. The grandmother Holocaust survivor, the Palestinians took her to a pizzeria and did a pizza promotion with her. Could you believe this? It was insane. And now we got the hostage video of the Instagram model that they took. And still, with all of this, all the video is out, everything is settled. We know what happened. What happened. There's no, misunderstanding. And we have these professors and these Muslim groups and others out there still blaming Israel for all of this. Now, before we break, I want to ask you, are you retired, or are you planning on retiring at some point in the future? In a year, 2 years, 5 years, tomorrow, 6 months? If you're planning on retiring, listen up. You can't do it on your own. Like anything else you do, you need to have a professional. Inflation's out of control. The stock market, I don't understand all of that. That the inflation rate is the highest inflation rate in 40 years, which means it's the highest inflation rate in most of our adult and working lifetimes. You need a plan of action that will work for you, and you can put that together with Joe Thomas. He's a financial expert. He's president of Retirement Network Advisors of South Florida, and they are South Florida's premier retirement experts and have been for over 20 years. He's seen every possible scenario that you may have in your own personal life and financial situation. His company is family-owned and operated. He works with his daughter, Jenny, and they co-host right here on True Oldies, the Jupiter Joe Money Show. And Joe Thomas has been doing that for over 10 years on our radio station. And he's got two free offers for you. One is a free copy of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Okay, you can go to his website, jupiterjoe.com, and request right there a copy of the book for free. Click on the book link. But he's also offering free phone consultations. Pretty good offer. A free phone consultation with a financial expert. Joe Thomas. That's amazing. Now, you can call him. I'm going to give you the number right now. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. If you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com, and you can get it there. Take advantage of this offer. Get the book for free, The Retirement Know-It-All, and take advantage of that free consultation with a financial advisor. Go to jupiterjoe.com. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back, maybe with some calls, and much more after this. Don't go anywhere.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rome Studio. Injured recently? Call the Rome's Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Rome's winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope your day's off to a great start. It is chilly. Haven't been this cold since last March. We are in the 50s in many spots around the area to begin the day. Eventually, we'll see a high in the upper 70s. Partly cloudy skies throughout. I'm WTV Op 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Should have SCREENLESS.
Okay.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Check out the Moneymaker Tour of the Poker Room at PBKC October 25th through November 6th, featuring over $650,000 in guarantees. 27 trophy events, including a $200,000 mystery bounty and $300,000 main event. You can also play your favorite
Now, how did the phone company know that the phones would be on at exactly 7:55? I feel like I'm being punked. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve, you back with us? Okay, I'd like to know, this unrelated to everything we've talked about, and how did the phone company know the phones will be back right at 7:55? I feel like I'm being punked. I really do. All right, let's go. Let's find out if going without calls is better than taking them. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? First call of the day. Oh.
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Jeff, how are you?
Hey, good, Steve. How are you? You know, I had a lot to say, but I'm gonna narrow it down real quick. What we do is we love. We love each other. We love our families and our country. We love the Lord. They hate. All they have is hate, and it has come down to evil versus good. And we need to stand united, and we are united more than ever. And this country is surviving, like Steve Bannon says. If your purpose is to save our country, we will succeed, and we need to take a stand.
Well, let's be a little more specific about what's going on. I mean, which issue would you? I mean, I've talked about a few things today, so be more specific about the issues as opposed to
in our schools.
Oh yeah,
Israel.
Yeah, it's twisted.
So pure evil.
You know, and let me tell you, okay. It's so bad. I'm defending DeSantis. Okay, DeSantis. He gave an interview with Face the Nation. They went out. He said all Palestinians are anti-Semitic, and the Democrat woman Brennan that hosts that show, she said that's not true. And how can you say this, et cetera, et cetera? Well, where's the Palestinians supporting Israel? I don't know. I haven't heard that. And this woman Brennan here, you know, that video that they released of that girl, the Instagram model, that hostage video. You mean to tell me they haven't spent the last 9 days raping her nonstop? Look at her. Look at her. And we've got this woman who thinks she's a feminist that hosts CBS's Face the Nation, thinks she's a big role model to women, you know, and this is going on, and she's not out. Why doesn't she have CARE on, or a Palestinian on, and talk to them about what's happening to these female hostages? And by the way, the one we're seeing the video of is not the girl from the motorcycle. We haven't seen her since. And these liberals in this country are disgusting. Where are the Palestinians that are calling for the release of these hostages?
Well, I'm only guessing, but I assume they're still out here.
No, none. In fact, this Margaret Brennan, she goes after DeSantis over and over, defending Palestinians. I don't hear her saying anything here about defending these women that were abducted. Anyway, Jeff, it's really upsetting. I mean, this is what's going on here is not just left-wing opinion. This is Nazism. This is, and I know liberals call everybody a Nazi. You don't like what they do, you're a Nazi. This is real Nazi-like behavior. This is what we all saw in the documentaries, you know, of the Nazi brown shirts. Okay, this is exactly the same thing.
And that's why I started out with the synopsis that it's hate and love. It's pure hate what they're doing. Anybody that can condone the murder of those innocent babies in Israel are off their rocker.
They are so lost.
The college professors and these college students, they're all endorsing it. There's a professor at Cornell he said it was exhilarating to see that the power of violence has shifted to the Palestinians. He said, yeah.
It was so disgusting, and we got to remember
These people are teaching our children.
Exactly.
Yeah, we need to change our education system.
I mean, you know, Brennan on CBS, she says, how can you paint a broad brush and say 2.3 million people are anti-Semitic? She's all upset at DeSantis, and I don't hear one negative word for the motorcycle rider barbarians. It looks like a scene out of The Road Warrior. And I don't see her saying anything about that. It's disgusting. All right, yeah.
It's not going to get better until good people stand up.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Jeff.
And that's what we're doing.
All right, take care. Thanks so much. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Rob from California.
Hey, Rob.
First thing I want to say is I do like the phone calls because, I hope you don't get mad at me for saying this, but listening to you talk for like 2 hours, it gets tiring.
Oh, you get. Oh, I was boring you. Oh, well, listen. I'll tell you this. No, of course. How am I not going to get upset at that? You sound like Richie. No. Excuse me. Yeah, I hope you don't get offended, Brian. But listen to you talk is boring. Listen. When to ask callers whether they prefer the show with the phones open or not is a little biased because you're a regular caller, Jeff's a caller, and since you can't get your fix by calling, you're not happy. So it's a biased sample. I don't take it personally because I know you're wrong, but it's kind of rude.
I don't even call every week.
But okay. Let me do this. Since you called me out, you said it was boring for 2 hours. I thought I had brilliant commentary and analysis on the most important issues facing our society and our civilization. But since you say the show's better with you, dazzle the audience. Let's see how excited you are. What's your name again? Well, no, what's your name again? Rob, the show's yours. Dazzle the audience. It's better with you. Let's go. Okay, but we got your voice, and this is the part that you say is interesting. So let's hear it. Okay, well, on that, I will agree. Thank you for your call. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Once. Twice. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Dean. I'm calling from Boynton Beach.
Yes, Dean.
Today.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to give you like a very quick background of where I came from. I came from Lebanon after I was brutally attacked by Hezbollah upon the war in 2006 between Hezbollah and Israel. I clearly said that I'm against what Hezbollah is doing. A lot of Lebanese people said the same thing, and as a matter of that, I was brutally attacked, sent to the hospital for 25 days, and then after that, I'm like, screw that, I'm getting out of here. So I left Lebanon, and I came here. The reason I'm telling you this is, I am the last person on earth who would defend Hezbollah, Hamas, or even Iran, because they all come from the same crop.
I'm waiting for the but.
What people, or some people, I know that a lot of people are just stupid, they don't understand what's going on, and they just go, free Palestine, including Hamas, including supporting all these terrorist groups. We have to separate between Hamas and civilian Palestinians.
Oh, really? Explain that to me. Okay, I know. Hold on a second here. I just said off the air, I said I'm waiting for the but. So who are the Palestinians that are coming out against the attacks on Israel?
I am completely against that.
No, I didn't ask you. Excuse me. I'm not talking you. No. Excuse me. Hey, listen. We're not in Gaza. We have free speech here, okay? Where are the Palestinians condemning the murders, rapes, and kidnappings of Israelis, of Jews?
Where do you watch this shit?
Oh, my goodness. See, there you go. Oh, yeah. All right, there you go. Oh, my goodness. Yes. All right, time for a break. And we'll wait for the delay to build back up. Oh, my goodness. There you go. He couldn't even condemn the kidnappings and murders and rapes. He had to use a word to end the conversation. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning. Yep. Hey, Barry, how you doing?
As you know, we do, at the Siegel Law Group, we do a lot of seminars, and we're doing them every other week, and we have one coming up on Thursday, but I think that one's filled up already. Brian, I'm going to send you an updated list of
okay.
So people can know about them. But we also do speaking engagements besides the seminars. In fact, we're doing one this morning at a homeowners association in West Palm Beach. So my message today is for anybody out there who's involved with an organization, whether it be a condo association, a homeowners association, temple, synagogue, or any kind of organization you may have. We frequently will speak at your meetings, and we do that quite frequently. And so all you have to do is call our office and schedule it, and we'd be happy to do that. And that way we can expand on some of the things that we talk about here. Obviously we only have a few minutes when we do a call in here, but we get an organization, we can expand on different things or go into very specific things, answer people's questions as well. So I'm putting that out there. I've mentioned it in the past before on your show, and I guess because of the all.
Yep. No, that's opposite, and I'll vouch for Attorney Barry Siegel here. I've seen Barry speak dozens of times at his workshops, and every time it's interesting, and I get new information each and every time. So if you invite Attorney Barry Siegel to speak at whatever organization you have, you'll get a lot of good information. And I think the things that you talk about, Barry, are things that people want to hear and are very grateful that they heard, because you offer help for a lot of things I think that people worry about all the time. So you can call the Siegel Law Group, by the way. It's toll-free, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782. If they want you to to speak at a group, I guess they'll just mention that when they call, Barry?
Yeah, they can just call my office. They can ask for Renee at my office. Be happy to make those arrangements.
Okay, and you can also find the Siegel Law Group online at siegellawgroup.com. All right, is that it today, Barry, or do you have anything else you want to add?
No, that's it for today.
All right.
Everybody have a good day, and I'll talk to you later in the week.
All right, take care. Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. We'll be right back.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldies.
All right, we are back. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian. Steve is joining us. I keep hearing this talking point that there's Hamas and then there's the Palestinians in Gaza. And I don't hear groups of Palestinians condemning what's going on. And so far as Israel, Netanyahu, half the country want him out and always want him out every time he's prime minister. So why are they to blame? So why do you blame all the Jews for one guy? By the way, I love Netanyahu. But the Palestinians, they get a free pass. Or you really think that Hamas would be running the joint for all these years if they didn't have the support of the Palestinians? Are you kidding me? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Uncle Steve, Ivy in Broward. I wasn't going to call in, but that last caller is a prime example of when I say how they lie in your face and say something that did not happen. That guy there made up that story for sympathy. Then he tries to go to the next step to make us feel empathy.
Well, he tells us he's a victim of Hamas, and then he goes on to defend Hamas.
Right. So he is exactly what I was talking about when I said I got beat up in Germany. Now, as for what they did, the Vikings can't exactly come in on their little boats anymore and pillage and plunder, but that is what they did. They pillaged and they plundered, and we can't have that. I say push them to the Mediterranean, push them back pushed them all the way back. They had enough time. There's no.
Well, you know, here we are 7, 8, 9, 10 days since the barbarians on their motorcycles did what they did and everything that's happened since. Where are the groups of imams that have come out publicly and condemned this barbaric attack by Hamas? I must have missed that. I just keep hearing people saying that the Hamas doesn't have the support of the Palestinian people. Then where are the I keep seeing Palestinians attacking Israel and saying they deserved it, but I haven't seen in New York and in Chicago, where are the Palestinians condemning it?
Okay, the world must understand. Eventually, the bully will be fought back against. Israel has had enough. They've been very patient. They have to do this. They must go down in the tunnels like they did and got the goops. They must smoke them out. They turn off the electricity, the lights. That gives the common sense person enough time to get away.
Well, I don't know how much is cut off. I mean, they still have internet capabilities. I mean, how are they charging their phones and things? I mean, they uploaded this video of the hostage, the Instagram girl hostage. If they don't have any electricity or internet or anything, how they do that?
Well, they can also they have enough money to have solar or generators that will last for a certain period of time. Again, that still gives the military a way to track them.
Yeah.
To track them. However, we got to get the ground people in there now. They had enough time. The people had enough time to push them back to Egypt or push them to the Mediterranean and take the land back. And that means
my guess is, I mean, I'm no military expert. I served in the military for the same amount of time as Bill Clinton and President Obama combined. Okay, so that's my military service, long term. And I was in Vietnam for 3 months less than John Kerry. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, but my guess is the people. Why haven't they gone in? Why haven't they gone in? Most of these Hamas monsters, they might be monsters. They are barbarians. They're in their teens and early 20s. They're obsessed with social media, and they've just been tracking them. And they're going to do very pinpointed movements to take these monsters out. They know exactly where they are, and that's what they're doing.
Sorry. Israeli soldiers came back home to fight. When they fight the Palestinians, they take candy, even chocolate, because they know the kids will be scared. While Hamas is fighting behind the kids, they are trying to comfort the kids even in time of war. They took candy in the pocket of the Israelis. That's how much they care about the Palestinian kids in these times of war. But it doesn't go the other way.
And I'll tell you this: if the Palestinians aren't with Hamas, why were these Palestinians throwing a party and giving candy to kids on 9/11? Remember that? Why, if they're so civilized and against terrorism and all this, why were they celebrating the Palestinians, the attacks on America of 9/11?
It's the same reason to kill the Jews.
Yes.
It's the same reason they had to protest in Chicago and in New York. It's a celebration of what they did. It is Israel's 9/11.
That's right. It's worse than 9/11 because the loss of life, with the population, you guys hear like 30, 40,000. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Anthony from Weston.
I couldn't understand a word you said.
Anthony from Weston.
Anthony from Weston. Hey, Anthony.
Any entity here that can go after these judges, because it seems to me like they don't care if they want to destroy somebody's life. They're not using the rule or law. They could care less about the Constitution.
Who are you talking? Who are you talking about?
These judges, the
Trump judges.
Yes, Trump. Not only Trump judges, but other people that were been prosecuted the past 2 or 3 years. And any entity here that can go after these judges, it seems like
Well, the thing about judges, to become a federal judge, you have to be appointed by a president, right? So that means that you are politically connected. They don't just pick random people and say, we're going to make you a judge. You have to have contacts to get on the list to be chosen from. So anyone that's a federal judge is a political animal. I don't care who they are, okay? Where are you from originally? Colombia. Well, they probably have a better justice system in Colombia than we have here these days. And local judges are elected. So they're either Democrat or Republican. So, our judges in this country, it's all politics.
So
how do they pick judges in Colombia?
I think it's about the same.
Yeah. So what happens? This Judge Chutkan, she's the one that put the gag order on in D.C. She wants to be on the Supreme Court. Okay. So if she does what these evildoers want her to do, maybe she'll get on that list and make it on the Supreme Court someday. But the Democrats already have a black woman there, so they already got their black female justice. I think the chances are slim, but it's in the back of her mind.
Yes. Oh boy, I feel like truly the people don't get truly justice because judges are not there.
Let me ask you, how long have you been here from Colombia?
Like 30 years.
30 years with this accent? Oh my goodness, you've been here almost as long as me. Where do you think you have more freedom today, America or Colombia?
We still have more freedom here.
Than Colombia? Yes. Okay, well that's good. So the country's not totally lost yet.
No. There's hope. I mean, if we can begin with Trump and we get the Senate, hopefully things will.
Well, listen, you're in Weston. Be careful. The motorcycle cops from BSO are out of control in Weston. Do not make sure you stop at all stop signs. And if it says no U-turn, don't take the U-turn. You'll get a ticket in Weston. Yeah, you got to. The motorcycle cops are out of control in Weston. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. Calls on hold, standby. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll be back. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope the day's off to a great start. It is chilly. Haven't been this cold since last March. We are in the 50s in many spots around the area to begin the day. Eventually, we'll see a high in the upper 70s. Partly cloudy skies throughout. I'm WPV Up 25 First Morning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Right now on the Palm Beaches, we are incident free at this time on the expressways, but in all frank right shoulders, blocked by a disabled vehicle on the turnpike north on 1942 Beach Boulevard. We do have slowdowns on 95 and northbound to Beach and the north, also the turnpike north and south on Central Lake Road. The certain streets we have a multi-vehicle crash lingering in Royal Palm Beach along State Road 7 just north of Southern Boulevard. And further south in Broward County, a crash blocking two left lanes, turnpike south on after Griffin Road, delays go back to 535. This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows fall is the perfect time for outdoor projects. Right now, you can keep your yard that keeps best and safe. Take care of leaves with leaf blowers starting at just $89.98. Lowe's knows home improvement while supplies last. See store for details. Let's drop it this far.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's showtime at PBKC. Get your tickets now for exciting live events in the paddock. Enjoy dinner and a show with the Rat Pack now on Friday, October 20th. Let It Be Ultimate Tribute to the Beatles on November 17th. And Chris McDonald's Merry Christmas Baby December 15th. Then get ready to laugh out loud with comedy shows with Andrew Dice Clay doing 2 shows, Jackie Marlene and Jimmy Fallon all in December. For more information, go to ppkennelclub.com.
Sloman's home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation is free. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and even you get a doorbell camera. Call now, 833-293-5050, and Sloman's will give you a a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. And wait a minute, that's not all. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME and you'll get a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's Home Security, the ultimate in home security. Call 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. Shield your home.
Wow, my goodness, the show flew by. The show really flew by. We'll be back in 1 minute. Happy birthday, Eric Tate. Oh, boy. All right, callers on hold. Stand by. The show actually has flown by. Steve's back. I'm Brian. You back with us, Steve? Did I got you? Okay, guess not. Okay, we'll go here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, how are you? Gotta make a comment right off the bat, Brian. Anybody who thinks they can do a 3-hour political show first thing in the morning from 6 to 9, I believe it's sadly mistaken, especially if you're hosting it. This show is not we're a cooking show, we're exchanging recipes or the latest celebrity gossip or Lady Gaga doing. Political show is completely different, very passionate to the point. You got to know what you're talking about and it's very fluid. So I think anybody who thinks they're walking host a radio show like this is crazy, or they just don't understand how complex it is.
And walk in and find out that the phones will be out for.
The phones are out too.
I just before you get into what you called about, I just wanted to say this about the phones. Obviously, I love taking calls. I mean, that's what we do here, you know. But I think sometimes maybe I go to the phones too quickly, and I think today I was able. We got some important things going on. Obviously, I changed up what I changed up what I was gonna do on the show when I walked in and found out the phones weren't working. But I think that they were important things that had to be discussed at length. So maybe I won't go to the phones as quickly as I do sometimes. You know, I don't know.
I mean, I love the call on the show, but I think some callers think, well, I could
Oh, please. It takes, doing a show like this is, it's a lifestyle, but it's an all-day thing. But I spend about 3 hours preparing every morning before I leave to come to the radio station, and then even during the breaks, I'm still going through news and seeing what else is going on.
I watch you on YouTube here. I think people don't realize that it's not a 5-minute thing. You won't get talked off the tip of your head.
Well, when you are brilliant and great at what you do, it seems easy. You make it seem easy. I appreciate it. I love all this sucking up. This is awesome. This is better than Rob in California with the mumbles. It's better with me. It's better with me. No. Yes. Mm-hmm.
The other thing I want to talk about, when I see the new round of intellectuals coming into the mainstream, the 18 to 22-year-olds who are graduating or in university system, and what they're protesting and what they're talking about, the crime has gotten worse. Do these kids have any clue?
Well, this one here, and I maybe I harp on this too much, but I think it's the part of the problem is nobody knows what gender they are anymore at that age. But I as a man, I don't know. How old are you? Oh, you're older than me. You sound much younger than 60. But hey, 68 ain't what it used to be. As you get older. But but my generation, I really think, is the last generation that has men in it. And what I think as men, we haven't. See, I'm all choked up now because I'm just talking so much without calls. My throat's dry. But we have a natural instinct to protect women. And the horrors that I'm seeing with the women, that girl with the hostage video today, I'm disgusted by these college kids that will not even comment on what's going on with these women who have been kidnapped.
Well, when these college guys, are they willing to step in and protect a woman from being abused on a bus or something? I don't think so.
Yeah, I know. They don't know how, because that's offensive. I don't even know if they hold doors open for women.
I don't think we'd win these wars. We did guys that we used to have.
No.
And if we don't get them back quick, I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to do something with the universities, because I think you just got to maybe just gut them out and just start all over.
Well, my wife and I, we got a desk that we were putting together. It was a little complex, so I went online to find a video online to put it together, and there was this husband and wife, and the wife was putting it together, not the husband, and this was on YouTube, and the guy was so effeminate, and his wife was like a guy, and they were like 20-something years old, and my wife said that's how guys are now. That's how they are now.
Girls, they can't find a guy to go out with because they're feminine.
When I took that Brightline high-speed train to Orlando Saturday morning, and I got on the train in Boca at 6:30, and these two girls got off the train that were drunk as hell in party dresses coming up from Miami, coming back to Boca. And I told I said, do you think those girls went to Miami to find some girly guys, or they go down there for real men, as opposed to these Boca guys that are all feminized? You understand what I mean? So I think they've done so much damage with the college kids, with the sexuality and the gendering. I don't think there's any natural, instinctive protecting women instinct in this generation we have these days.
Down dramatically.
I know.
It's very sad.
And what when I see what happened at that music festival, and I see that hostage video of that girl today, and then they got this woman, Brennan, on Face the Nation that's pissed off at DeSantis because he said Palestinians are anti-Semites, and she doesn't have a word against the hordes of barbarians that went over there to the festival, and she thinks she's a feminist role model. Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation.
Really, it's tragic. It's tragic watching these people commentary, and they have access to the media, which is worst of all.
That's right. All right, I appreciate the call, and the sucking up was nice too. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Bill from Sanford. Good morning, Brian.
So far. Well, it's almost over, so we don't have... Yeah.
It's not so far. You know what I'm saying. I want to talk about the judges. I looked it up. There's 27 federal judges in D.C. 1/3 of them, 9 out of the 27, were appointed by Republican presidents. Chukin was appointed by Obama.
Yep.
Chief judge, who could replace her based on bias, is appointed by Obama. I mean, this stinks. And judges are usually picked by rotation. Are you telling me the one judge who in open court, trashed Trump, gets to pick this case?
Well, said he shouldn't be free. Last October, she said he shouldn't be free, Trump.
In open court.
Well,
there's not another judge on here who said anything wrong about Trump in an open court.
Yeah, I know, it's insane.
The chief judge, he's just a...
So I played that. Did you hear the audio that I played earlier of Trump saying he'll go to jail over this? Okay, now what do you think's going to happen? I think he's going to test it. I mean, he already broke the gag order yesterday in that statement. Do you think she's going to hold him in contempt? What's this judge going to do?
Oh, well, she's going to get a name for herself, and she's going to try to put him in jail.
These people don't see that.
In Georgia.
Oh yeah, the Fannie Willis. They told her she's going to be governor.
And the sheriff in Fulton County, and these guys, they're going for their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
I mean, it stinks. It really stinks.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen anything just so terrible in federal court.
No, it's insane. And the reason she issued the gag order is because he was pointing out that she hates him and her previous statement that he shouldn't be free. She doesn't want him saying that to millions of people every week.
And Trump is right. I mean, there's so many reasons to take this up to the Supreme Court. I mean, I don't care what happens. If Trump...
Yeah, but you know what though? We were so confident in 2010 when it came to Obamacare, and then what happened? The Supreme Court let it stand and destroyed the healthcare industry. So don't just be so confident. I know we got a great Trump court and all that overturned Roe v. Wade, and they did good things, but just don't be so confident that the Supreme Court's going to do the right thing.
Oh, well, we can't count on that either. But I think this plays in favor of Trump.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate the call. Okay. All right. Take care. Okay. Hold on. Okay. There we go. If you're on hold, stand by. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll go back to the phones when we get back from the break. Also, I do want to play the clip again, though, of President Trump at the second rally he did yesterday, which was just amazing. We'll take our break for the Gold Report, check in with William Youngman, and be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on.
All right, and it's time to take a look at the precious metals markets today. From the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca, here's William Youngerman. Hey, William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
Doing great. How are the metals looking today?
Metal's looking good. A little bit of a pullback, and now it's back up again. Overnight, we traded between $1,912 and $1,930. Yesterday, we traded in a range of $1,908 all the way up to $1,928.
Oh, my goodness.
Closing out the day after that big gain on Friday, down $12.80 at $1,919.70. That may be a short-lived buying opportunity that we saw yesterday. The silver closed down 14 cents at $22.59. The platinum was up $13 at $8.94, and palladium closed down $1 yesterday at $11.29. As I said this morning, the markets are back up. Gold trading in a range overnight between $1,912 and $1,930, and currently at $1,923.50, around $3.50 up right now. Silver up 11 cents at $22.70. Platinum up $6 at $900, and palladium down $9 at $1,120 an ounce.
Wow.
A little bit lower this morning, and we've been going back up ever since.
Well, yeah. So it's still time to get in. And are you still recommending in the 1 ounce coins the Perth Mint, the Australian kangaroos?
Absolutely, yes. Still a great value there.
Yeah, and those are beautiful coins. And can you tell us a little bit about those coins, the Australian kangaroo, because they're special.
They are special. They come in a beautiful little encasement of plastic so that it protects them, because they are pure 9999 fine gold coins. They are non-reportable when you sell them. These are not under that ruling, so they have a lot of great things going for them. And of course, they are one of the purest gold products themselves out, so they're a wonderful investment.
Absolutely. So William Youngman opens up at 10 a.m. And remember, no matter where you are located, somewhere else in South Florida or throughout America or the world, you can do business with William Youngman over the phone. He opens up at 10 a.m. His number, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, we'll be right back.
Justice Warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
Wow. One of our listeners, I'm not sure if they won credit for this, but one of our listeners that goes on our cruises texted me an article. See, if you go on the cruise, you get my cell phone number because we got to coordinate when we're on board and stuff. Margaret Brennan, who I hate to say nice things about DeSantis right now because he's such a snake, but she put him through the ringer about saying Palestinians are anti-Semitic. Like, that's a radical comment, right? Give me a break. And I was talking about how she thinks she's some feminist role model, Margaret Brennan, but she's more upset at DeSantis than she is these kidnappers and rapists. And someone sent me, and I did check this, even though I know this person very well, and during the break I checked this and verified the information. Margaret Brennan, who gave, she's the host of Face the Nation, who gave the interrogation to DeSantis. Her husband is a Syrian-American attorney. So she's married to a Syrian. Shocker that she's a defender of these barbarians and upset at DeSantis for pointing out their anti-Semitism. The Syrians, they're anti-Semitic too, by the way, at least the ones I've known. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
I'm going to support you, Brian. I think that you should stop taking calls. I think it's you and Steve.
Would that be? What about your calls?
Right.
Oh, you don't want us to take your call anymore. You know, all these people calling in have hidden. Tell me why you think we shouldn't take. We're not going to go without calls, but why do you say we should not take calls? That's a radical statement.
I'm just saying. Right? You and Steve basically lead the conversation. You don't seem very happy to hear.
I knew it! Didn't I just say agenda? Didn't I just say... Because the last time you called in, I don't know, I was a little snarky with you. I don't remember the call, except I blew you off there. So you got a beef on the last call.
No, Brian, here's the thing. I really don't have a beef with you. It's your show.
Tell me, come on, I can hear the sarcasm in the tone. You called in last week. I don't remember what we were talking about or what you said or I said, but I made a snarky remark and hung up on you, right?
But
No, that's happened. That happened last week. That happened. No. Did that? Obviously, it matters because yeah.
Listening to you for how many years now? Right? The thing that's very clear to me is that you have a degree of contempt for people who continuously call you.
That's not true. That is not true at all. And give me some names and I'll tell you. I know who you think of. Richie, Mike in Louisiana, right? Are there's a couple of them?
Right,
Conservative Doug.
Even like some of your liberal callers, and I do understand.
Okay, I'll talk. Okay, I'll talk about. Okay, we'll talk about. Okay, so you think I got a beef with Conservative Doug, Mike from Louisiana? You mentioned the name. You mentioned the name, and Rich.
You're sick of hearing from people.
No.
Why?
No. This is the thing. Excuse me. This is the thing. See, she doesn't want us to take calls, right? Because you were slighted. I mean, you can't even be. This is the problem with Mike in Louisiana. Why do you think I got a beef with Mike in Louisiana?
I don't think that you have. Here's the thing.
Enough with the condescending. You know what? Watch. You won't like this. When people are over 40 and not married, there's usually a reason why. And if you talk to them long enough, you start to figure it out. In your instance, we're hearing it now. This is the thing with Mike in Louisiana. I like Mike in Louisiana, and I like Mike in Louisiana's calls. What I've told Mike in Louisiana is he can't call at the same time every day, and he can't be the first caller of the show. Call later in the show. He continues to call right in the beginning to try to be the first caller. So but because you can't do a show and have, it's 8:17, Mike in Louisiana's on again. Okay, so that's Conservative Doug. I know Conservative Doug, and surprisingly, some of you may be surprised. Not only does Conservative Doug have my cell phone number, he and I text quite regularly throughout the week and even on the weekends. We were texting on Sunday. Okay. And Doug does the same thing that Mike does. He calls at 7:05 every day and is on hold, and I see him there. You can't do a show and have a certain segment of the show regularly that's dedicated to a caller. Okay? It's 7:12. Oh, it's Conservative Doug's segment. You can't do that and run an interesting show. That's all. So when I get annoyed with people, it has to do with that, because I've told both of them, I love your calls, but spread out the times. Now, so far as Richie said something that was so he's not even banned, but he's in self-imposed thing because he thinks that the show needs him, he said something that was so inappropriate about Steve, I didn't even want to tell Steve, and then that jerk called in and forced me to tell Steve because he wanted to say something to try to hurt Steve personally in his heart and in his feelings and cause problems between me and Steve. Sometimes we bring people into the show and they get an ego and they get out of control and they do things that are inappropriate, like Richie did. And Richie knows damn well what he did was inappropriate and what he said was a terrible thing, and he knows what he was trying to do. Okay? Now, so far as I can't remember the call last week. What was the call?
Nothing.
It has everything to do with this. It has everything.
I've listened to your calls and you've taken plenty of cheap shots at me like you just did.
People take cheap shots at me too. You're taking cheap shots too. You just don't have the guts to do it. You're doing this condescending thing as opposed to saying what you really think. And you're not even saying what the issue is. Like with these callers, I told Mike in Louisiana not to call at the same time every day. Spread it out. Call later in the show. The thing with Richie, the thing with Doug, the same thing. Don't call at the same time every day. Spread it out. I'm being very specific about what the beef I have. You are just trying to act like in this condescending, high and holy way and don't have the guts to even remind me of what I had forgotten about, which was what you said last week in your call that I blew off. If you said, Brian, you hung up on me before I was done and I was pissed off and screw you, then I'd be like, okay. But you can't even do that.
I can't do it because it's your show, and it doesn't...
You can do whatever you want, but you won't do it because you want to come off in a different way.
And I'm telling you...
Yeah?
Stop.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should just stop calling. If you don't like it, I mean, listen. I don't call you. I don't call you. Thank you for your call. You call me. So don't call me and then complain at the way I handle it. Listen, the way on the callers we talked about, I don't think that I'm unreasonable. You can't do a professional radio show and every day at 6:17 it's time to talk to a particular caller. I don't care who it is. And over the years, there have been other callers we've had this problem with. You're on the air. Good morning.
Please, don't stop the calls. I call conservatively. I call you every time.
Why don't you stop? Listen, stop trying to be funny. You're not. Drop the fake voice and just, use your real voice. Yeah. 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 Oh my gosh. See what I mean? So it's a mixed bag, the calls. Listen, I understand it gets heated. I understand that this show is a difficult show to call in and that we do hold you accountable. But at least be honest. Now, before we end, I got to tell you guys, today's Tuesday. How you feeling today? You suffered from some aches and pains because you're a little more active over the weekend. You went and played golf or something, did a little tennis, whatever it is you do, working around the house, cleaning out the garage, which I seem to do every weekend. You got some aches and pains. Go see Dr. Appleton and talk to him about his laser away pain treatment. His laser away pain treatment works. He's rid me of pain 5 times, and it works on so many different types of pain. Arthritis, which he rid me of. Bursitis, hip pain, knee pain. He rid me of years of suffering from knee pain, lumbar pain, muscular contraction, strains and sprains, tinnitus, tennis elbow, neck pain, herniated disc, all that and more. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are always welcome. You can find Dr. Appleton online at AppletonChiro.com or give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And in case I missed it, Dr. Appleton, walk-ins and appointments are not necessary, even on Saturdays, all right? And he performs all the treatments himself. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Lisa from Pompano.
Hey, Lisa.
I just want to say, you and Kathy probably raised the best daughter ever. How you handle people is really amazing. I love listening to your show. I've been listening probably 8 years now. And even, you're doing a great job. You hang in there and you keep your calm, but you're strong and you're good. And
well, I appreciate that, but what has inspired this call and these compliments? What happened on the show today that inspired this?
Oh, well, what's her name that just called in?
You know what? I forgot her name, Mike. What's her name? What's her name? Andrea? I forgot her name. Andrea.
And then, and you're right about the callers that call in consistently at the same time. You're right. You're totally.
And all of these callers, it isn't just like all of a sudden I lashed out at them. I've asked them on the air, please, could you spread your calls out? And they still, I mean, if you're listening to a radio show and it's 6:18 every day, the same person calls in, what does that sound like?
Would call in, I would mute I usually watch on YouTube, I turn it off.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, just because I'm not...
in Michael, Louisiana, or...
Yeah. So here's the thing. Just because sometimes... I don't go to the calls always when they're on hold. Sometimes people are on hold for 2 hours and 45 minutes on this show. I don't just go to the calls every time there's a call there. That's not hosting a radio show. I love the calls. I love the interaction between the calls. That's why we do it, and that's why we do it screenless. We don't know it any. Andrea, you think she'd have gotten away with that on any other show? They'd have blown her out and got her off the phone like that because they'd be afraid of her. And I thought she was incredibly dishonest, but you can understand why she's single at age whatever, right?
That was good.
But because it's true. Hey, listen, we're out of time, but thanks for the call. All right. Oh, man. I'm Brian. We'll be back tomorrow. God bless Donald Trump.
WSFS 104.3.
Oh, man. All right, guys. It was a rough one today. It was a rough one today. I tell you. Some of these callers. Make sure, guys, that you subscribe. Now, that was rude. Well, yeah. Well, she was rude. What, are people allowed to be rude to me, but I can't be rude back? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Take their crap? All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
Can't believe I missed your. Who was that?